Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, in one of my previous videos, did show the unboxing or the unpacking of a bunch of new kits to the collection, and one of them was this '67 Pontiac GTO by MPC. This one here, from what I could find, it's either an '84 or an '85 release kit. Which, of course, this was during the era where MPC had their vibrant the the orangish brown fading into yellow gradient font. Now, this one here, I already had this kit in stock, but it was this version here, which is the AMT release version through RC2 in 2004. So, pretty much a 20-year difference between the release of these two kits. This one here, the box arts, is I believe was a promo exclusive for Walmart. So quite the difference. And then of course have the backs out for right now. Does show a bit of the customization options and features with the kit. Though whereas with the AMT version, it gives you some insight about the kit, but nothing really much going on with it. So I was curious to know what exactly were the differences between these two releases. I know there's also a couple other odds and ends of releases here and there, but didn't really feel like it was necessary to be buying other versions of the kit just for a video. So, getting into it, got the both chrome trees here. This one here is the white molded, which came from the AMT version, and then got the blue molded ones, which came from the MPC kit. So get both these bags opened up. Now, I did open up the other bags just to save time, but there is quite a few things worth noting. So, for instance, on both kits, you get a fairly good selection of extra parts to use, as you do have the optional supercharger, the turbine wheels, or the stock mags. So those are nice depending on which version you want to use. You also get the side exit exhaust and the downflow headers. A couple other parts here and there. But overall, between these two so far, they're pretty much the same kit. Though do see that this kit here is missing the other half of whatever this piece here is supposed to be. I'm not quite sure what, maybe like a battery perhaps, but not totally sure on what that part's supposed to be. So overall, those two so far are fairly pretty much the same, not without really many modifications. Then you get onto here, got the body, which is pretty much your basic '67 GTO. So pretty much looking at the bodies, other than the fact that the bracing support for the engine bay is still intact, they're pretty much the same without really any modifications. Though I do see that for the MPC release, there is quite a bit of more flashing compared to the AMT release. But realistically, that should just clean up just fine. And the bodies both look to be in good shape, which is always important when you're building. So those are both pretty much the same. Then of course too you have the likes of the chassis, which looking at them, they're pretty much just the same car. So not really too much to say there. Now, what is quite interesting while looking through the parts is you got here the seats and suspension and exhaust system. But what's interesting is you get a bonus part of the 1970 Pontiac GTO. That's right on front. And I've even got the MPC version, which the part had fallen off the parts tree, but it is included. So you do end up with extra grill, and if you really wanted to, could try and figure out a way how to makeshift get the grill installed properly. But of course, this here being for an older car or a newer car, it's not going to really work that well if you try using it. So if you end up getting any of these releases, you are going to be left with extra parts of those, which I mean they could be used for shop decoration or who knows. So those pretty much the same. Then you got these parts here, which actually go for two separate, or they have parts for two different prospects. Like you got here, you actually get an extra spoiler wing, which isn't actually showed on the kit box. So I'm guessing this would have been for the probably like for the 70 GTO kit. Though of course you can see here there's quite a bit of flashing, but nothing too much. Should be able to get that cleaned up. But on the AMT version, what's surprising is that it comes with a set of plastic light gray molded tires, which pretty much would just end up keying into each other. So that's quite unique feature to have. So I'm guessing with the Street Machine version, it's designed so that you use these tires for the front and you still use the wide tires on the back. The wing support for the other side did fall off, so I do have that, but it's just not on the tree right now. And then of course the Pontiac hood, pretty much the same. No real difference or anything worth mentioning. So put those up there. And then you pretty much got your clear windows, which for the MPC version, it's just molded as one full piece, and is in surprisingly good shape, well, considering a lot of times windows get scuffed up or tire burns from just sitting for so long. Then for the AMT version, it is molded separately, so it's pretty much like you could technically build a convertible out of it with how the glass is suggested to be separate. Nothing too much there. Then you got a couple other parts here. Like you have your optional hood with hood scoop, radiator support. Believe these would be rear shocks. And then what's unique is that you get, for the AMT version, you do have a set of wheel backs, which I presume would be for the drag racing version. So those are interesting to have, even though the MPC version, it doesn't even suggest having those parts. So there must have been another release that could have used these parts here, or if anything, another rendition of the kit, such as the 70 kit, which, looking at a bunch of the parts, it's pretty much, with a lot of the parts, it's pretty much suggesting a lot of this actually got carried over to the 70 kit and possibly the 72. Then another parts tree here, it's got pretty much the engine assembly with exhaust, fan, sport racing bucket seats, the wheel backs, roll cage, and what looks to be like an air intake. Got the separate molded grill inserts, which, considering the grill itself already has the grill pieces inserted, it kind of feels like there's a bit of a redundancy having these inserts. But I guess if anything too, you want to have it properly painted a different color, I suppose you'd have that. But overall, the parts between the two here, they're pretty much the same. Nothing really different, other than the fact some of the parts did fall off. So nothing too major there. Then we got the interior tub, which the AMT version kept the instrument cluster still molded in, whereas the MPC version, it was cut off separately. Not sure if that was how it was supposed to be, but that's how I got it. But pretty much the exact same interior tub. Nothing too much to say. Put those over there, and then getting to some of the last of the parts. Do have a couple other things here, like the wheel supports, the what looks to be the head. Yeah, these look here to be the headrests. Quite a bit of flashing, so gonna be careful trimming that. Another set of headrests. Of course, got the steering wheel, which for both kits, pretty much your standard Pontiac steering wheel for the time. So pretty much quite the same. And of course, too, you have your full set wheels and tires, which of course the MPC version kept the backing supports, whereas the AMT pretty much just cut everything out from factory, which is a lot more convenient, as if you end up cutting this and then you gouge into the sidewall and then things don't really look right. So pretty much that. And then you got, then of course, loose in the MPC box, you also have the same lenses and steel metal axle. So there's that. Then finishing off here, do have the instruction sheets, which for the AMT version is only a double fold, whereas the MPC version is the older style triple fold. Of course, pretty much just extending outwards. Which, just looking everything over, you pretty much got the same instructions, just different, pretty much just different rendition. And of course, you gotta have the product info and company stuff alternated. So just for all that. Though, what is interesting is that on the back side here, keep in mind this here's the MPC version. What's interesting is that when it goes to final assembly, it doesn't really show you any decal placements, but if you look at the AMT version here, which is one that doesn't really show any decals to it. Let me get this folded over properly. It does show you where the proper decal placement is, which, to a surprise, ends up leaving you with the decals that are essentially the same. So the bright white ones here are for the AMT version. Bottom ones here are for the MPC. So both decals are essentially the same, though one's more faded than the other. The license plates may be a bit different, but the overall font themselves, yeah, the font on the newer kit, it's much larger than the original MPC version. See if the camera will pick it up. So there is a slight difference for the license plates, but overall the decals pretty much look the exact same. So yeah, so pretty much a lot of the features actually are quite similar, and it pretty much shows that between both kit releases, both the AMT and MPC version, they're pretty much the same release just different box arts. So it's like you do end up getting quite a bunch of extra parts, even though the kits aren't mentioned the extra parts, which is quite unusual. But it's kind of a bonus to get a kit and then see that it has bonus features that you perhaps wouldn't have known. So yeah, that was a bit of a look through both AMT MPC 67 GTOs. And while I know some people don't actually like this kit for what it is, but if anything, I have the kit, so they're likely going to get built up, and of course being opened up and all that good stuff. See what I can do with both these kits. Possibly build one stock, build one custom, but who knows. There'll probably be a video for another day. So, that being said, I believe that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.